know what, guys? I think I need a good aesthetics person to look at my face. Really, don't you think so?
I think
so.
I think you have to be really good to make
look
a
at the two of you. Look at the two of you. And look at this guy's face. Look at you. I mean, you guys look so far better than me.
Thank you.
I need a butt job. I need a neck job. I need a whole damn works, man. I think I'm beyond redemption.
You know we're rolling.
I know we're rolling. Hi, everybody, and welcome to this episode of In Our Humble Opinion, and it's IOHO time again. And yeah, I had to start that show this way because, bad hair day, I put on the damn cap, face all upside down, left, right, and center, but these two always looking so damn refreshed. I just don't understand why.
Thank you.
But you know what, guys? Today we'll be talking, the catchphrase for this particular episode is called, it's party time.
With an I.
It's, party time. We will talk about that at length for this episode. And also we'll be talking about something that someone we've always seen on TV some time ago, but has been in Parliament also for some time. And he had this real wonderful speech he gave. Is it right for me to use the term speech, Gilbert?
Yes.
When you're delivering something in Parliament?
Yeah,
it's a speech.
Yeah,
okay.
speech.
This was marvelous. It was a marvelous speech in Parliament, and that's MP Daryl David. And also, we'll be covering this issue about logo design contests. So let's start with that particular topic. A local designer's thoughts on recent logo design competitions. And this person's been saying that, you know what? You want cheap jobs or free jobs done, creative work done, you come up with competitions like this. Does this cheapen?
No.
No?
No.
No, you think not? Why not?
Okay, first of all, just to bring everyone up to speed, a local designer commented, I think it was on Reddit, about how, is it a she? It's a she, right? Did not like logo competitions because it's a way for companies or institutions or whatever to get designers to work for free and to give away a prize and to get designers to work for free. I disagree with this simply because I understand the value of intellectual property. I understand the value of creative work. In this case, though, it's entirely up to a person whether they want to enter. And with the one that she was talking in specifically, I think it was the Sengkang Town Council,
correct,
one of those that she braced up, and the Pasir Ris one. They specifically mentioned there that it's only open to amateurs and not to professionals.
Absolutely.
So they're not trying to get a professional design studio to come and give them a free design. It is, I think, however, very important, is a way for young up-and-coming designers to put this onto their resume and to be able to get exposure. And I think that's so important. Because if you're a young designer and you're one of many out there, you want to be able to win a competition. You want to be able to compete, be a finalist, because this is very valuable for young designers. So I actually think it's a positive thing. I don't think at all it's a cheap way of getting designs. I do think, however, the prices should be probably make sure that it's good so that it's worth it for these young designers to enter. What do you think, Daisy?
Well, I maybe understand where she's coming from.
Yes.
But like you correctly said, it's very different when you do something for the community versus doing something commercial.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So if it's a commercial enterprise like Coca-Cola and they're going to take your design and put it in the back of a t-shirt and make tons of money. Yes, I understand.
Yes.
But when you use the word community and amateur, you're looking at celebrating your people together. And I think there's one important point, because when she mentions the word amateur, now, and she compares it with having, you can have, why doesn't this happen with a doctor or with a plumber? Now, the fact of the matter is that there are some areas where amateurs they can be contests. They can be singing, they can be dancing, they can be acting.
There's no amateur doctors.
Yes, and there's no amateur plumbers.
Yes,
that's it.
Or pilots.
Or pilots, absolutely. So hell, unfortunately, however much it hurts, you can have amateur designers.
Yeah. I mean, and she says it herself inside there, is that if you don't like it, then don't take part, basically don't have to make such a big fuss about this, I think.
But the thing is, I love the idea, in fact, that you have a logo, right? And you want your students, your community, your people
to contribute to it, and that it came from not an agency you paid money for, but from the community.
And what happens if you get a fancy agency and the community is like, huh?
Yeah,
what the hell is this?
I think our guy in the center wants to say something.
I was just wondering. I was just wondering when the two adults are going to let the child speak. Actually,
you can butt in anytime.
Don't laugh. Almost 6 months working with you two jokers. I've learned to just sit back, relax, and let you all talk first. Okay.
No.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing because why? I agree with your point of view, and particular to this article from on Reddit, right? And likewise, I agree with you as well. But here's the
this is a first.
Here is where I need to tell you why.
Cheers.
This is not the first. You're stuck in the two of you. See, I get stuck between the two of you. Yeah, stuck in the middle with you. Okay, so
lucky.
One can surmise that.
Chris Sandwich.
Yeah. Okay. Chris Sandwich. Wow, that's a good name, huh? Yeah. Well, that's a good crack. You just made.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway,
I'm learning.
My dear scholarly friends, here is what's been happening. The reason why this person picked up on this, and it's been going on even before I've been on the show. Amongst not just the creative circle like these guys create, graphic designers or the freelance circle, people who do some creative work, whether it is music, whether it is hosting or any work like that. Yeah, a lot of companies and establishments began to use this term exposure way too often, to the point where they say things. Come and do it pro bono. It's good exposure for you. It's always about that.
That's different.
I know. What I'm saying is that the reason why this person, the way I read it, got to this stage and decided to write this down is because there's maybe been hit way too often with this sort of, exposure cell that's been going around. I know you're right, both of you. It did say it's for amateurs. It did say that it is also, of course, especially if you are living in that town council or within that GRC
community,
and you do it for the community. That's all cool. That's all cool. I'm not disputing that. But what gave rise to this? In my mind, it is because of this exposure cell that's been going around, and it's been happening for a long time.
And actually,
but when you mentioned that. I think we go back to last week's episode where we were talking about locals getting a chance of working with MNCs and all that. And the same we were talking about the same kind of thinking where employers would turn around and say, come in, work with us, even if it is for less money, you will get good exposure. But that's a totally different subject. We're talking about professionals.
Yeah, and let's not forget
amateurs.
also the other thing that's kind of related to this is what irks a lot of people as companies is when influencers go to them and say, give me a free trip, give me a free this, give me a free stay, I'll expose your brand to my followers, and that irks a lot of companies as well because, for example, restaurant owners will say, it costs me money to come up with the food, I'm not going to give you a free meal because of that.
But surprisingly, on that note, since you raised that topic up, right? On that note, actually a lot of companies still do it.
Yes.
They still do it because for some reason, they do see that these people
Sure, of course.
There,
yes. And that's the company's decision and that's fine.
But in this case, I think,
But as I said,
it's amateur.
I'm an entertainer, right? So you guys know that I'm also exposed to these things. I don't need to have the exposure anymore. But there's a lot of young people out there who are just starting out.
Yes.
And these guys throw this line as bait to just reel them in to do it.
But think about it. When you look at the entertainment industry, I mean, it's not
both
apples
in
to apples, but when you look at all these contests, which are so famous, I mean, whether it's American Idol and then became Singapore Idol, and everybody starts as a contestant, an amateur, and then look where they go to, you know?
So I think it is a form, it has got validity to it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so from that on...
Moving on down to that wonderful speech by Daryl David in Parliament. And he was talking about, he was very passionate about things.
Yes.
He was talking about, that a change is required in the education system. He was talking about how some people, local Singaporeans who went out there and excelled in, for example, sports, and brought the country to a certain, brought the name of the country forward.
Yeah.
Right? I'm very proud to say that one of my namesakes and related to me was mentioned in Daryl's speech. And well done, Irving Henson. He broke the world record for bench press. And he went to the US alone, and he literally carried the flag our flag on his back.
Well done.
And not much was. I mean, it was reported in the Channel News Asia article. I think there was a small snippet in ST. But what Daryl was saying is that, come on, look at these guys.
Yeah.
Guys like him. And not just him, even the culinary kings that we've got, homegrown talents.
Yeah.
And we should not be looking at an education model where everyone's tested and examined by their scores and grades and GPAs. He did say that perhaps we could do something about project work instead. Some people who are not yet academically inclined actually would thrive in real projects,
Yes.
in that kind of an environment.
He also brought up an important point, which is that Singapore's education system is very exam oriented. So you are really gauged by how you do at exams. And he said, which I agree with, is that exams only capture really you at one moment in time. Yes, you have to study for it, but he's an educator himself. He was a lecturer at Polytechnic for I think about 12 years.
16 years.
16 years,
16
yes.
years.
So he's got a
Straight
background
from
on
Pyramid
this.
Game.
Yes,
Remember?
that's right. Actually, I wasn't in Singapore at that time, but yes. So I think that this is a very valid thing, is that what he said is that it's very important that the Ministry of Education look at broader grading systems. Don't just focus, that will focus more on coursework rather than just the final grade at the examination. And redefining excellence is not about celebrating mavericks, but mastery in a chosen field. He gave examples of sport and gastronomy. So I think that's a very important thing.
I think what Daryl is articulating is what people have been saying for a long time now, because it's even more important now as we bring about a generational change in our education system. So in a way that young people can get equipped with the right skill sets for the future. I mean, this change is necessary. I think he's spot on, because this directly connects to, again, the raging debate of why our youth don't always get their fair slice of jobs in the MNCs. So if you equip them with this kind of thinking, the creativity,
exactly.
the coursework, then you marry it with academics, which you can't absolutely do away with. This will form a very good union to be able to get you. He kept on saying the quilt analogy, right? So for me, I think we need to expand our thinking so that we become more like global citizens. So this kind of education is what brings you to that level.
Yeah.
It's so coincidental, because just my last episode we shot for KWC, and I had some guests with me. I'm not going to let go so much about that episode yet, because it's not yet released. But in a nutshell, we talked about this. Instead of trying to follow the models of other nations, we can also set the benchmark ourselves for a few things. And I've been an advocate ever since COVID started, especially for the entertainment world in Singapore. And what Daryl said, and I was glad, finally in Parliament, somebody raised this. And I was kind of very pleasantly surprised when I was watching that entire video of his speech. And he said, look, at Korea, you have boy bands like, BTS and all these, and the entertainment industry in South Korea is like taking off, taking the world by storm. Why can't we also have a focus on the arts, and more than just usual traditional, a segment of the arts scene in Singapore? Go a little further, and we developed. There's so much talent, which is true, and I've been saying this over and over and over again throughout a lot of my episodes.
Look, as far as I'm concerned, I'm just waiting for the day where every product from the Singapore education system, is acknowledged for their global excellence. We need now from people from here to reach those levels where they are globally accepted. And that's when you really feel our education system
And I
works.
think it's so important, and Chris had touched on this earlier, is that we don't just measure success by a very narrow viewpoint of it being academics. That there are people who may not be academically inclined, but who can do things in the culinary world, who can do things in sports, who can do things in other ways.
Look, I look at it in one way. I mean, you were saying, okay, Daryl said it in Parliament. But like I said, it's been going on for a while now. It is being articulated. At one point of time, literature wasn't given so much importance. Yes, it's been brought back. There's a lot more theatre going on, lots of activities. The whole art scene has become so vibrant
but you know
now.
what is the missing link so far? I mean, the government is pushing this, which is I'm glad to see, all right? It's the parents. Yeah. Because the parents will still have great difficulty accepting when the child does not do well in school, but says, I want to be an artist.
But Gilbert, I have to say this slowly and steadily, it is changing.
But you guys got to hang on here, because I'm sorry to stop you here, Daisy, because I think it is still very prevalent now. Why? I've interviewed musicians, I've interviewed DJs, club DJs, I've interviewed tattoo artists, and I asked them all the same question. Would you encourage anyone, young person, to do what you do? Surprisingly, I've got some who say no. Why? Cannot make money, which is very sad, but they love what they do.
Yes.
Okay. The other factor is those who teach these disciplines, and they go, parents come to me and say, my son wants to learn how to play the drums. And they told me, can you please discourage him from learning from you? And you're right. And it's still prevalent till this day. And this is where, when looking at this on my screen right now, Daryl David's speech, Singapore's model of meritocracy has to evolve and change. Yes, it has to. Because I've got friends whose kids have been, they discovered that when they're about 11, 12 years old, they're good at certain things, but it is not so mooted here in Singapore, like painting. But the kid's excellent at it, you know. And they fly them to Australia, and they graduate, they study there all the way up to university and graduate in that discipline. And they are lauded and applauded by the people of Australia. But they are Singaporean kids.
So the point is, I agree with it, but I am already saying baby steps have started.
Of course. And I think that if the government throws its weight behind it, that will help convince the parents. Because the parents always are just...
Gilbert, listen to me. You look back a little bit and you see, look at the number of art schools now. And there are waiting lists. Whether you want to get into SOTA, there is a waiting list. The auditions that you have to go through, the entry level, which speaks very well of what is happening.
How many schools do we have that's doing this?
For a population of 5.8 million, we have already started. What I'm saying is, we are moving in the right direction.
I would just want to echo what Gilbert said. Gilbert used the word if, and I concur. If. It's still a wait and see. I hope that whatever Daryl has said in Parliament, that the government will
and you know what gives me hope
and push this.
Is that the Prime Minister highlighted this.
Yes, correct. Yes, it
so
was
it's
on his post.
Exactly, on his post. And that means something.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of things that MPs will bring up. If the PM says, listen to him, that's important.
Granted.
Yes. So let's see, because we all believe the same thing.
I really hope so.
And we are on the right track.
And that we don't just evaluate educational success as the only means of success.
Because Singapore can still be rock and roll town, man.
You lead the way.
You said party, right?
We had Swing Singapore.
Another kind of party, you know.
So we're going to talk about another
kind of party. Our poor interns right there, they've never felt what Swing Singapore, have seen or experienced Swing Singapore. But we had fun, man.
What's Singapore?
Swing Singapore.
We swung.
You're not joking, man. You've been away that long, huh?
I was away for 20 years. What was Swing Singapore?
Okay,
when was
Swing Singapore. Okay, wait. Before we move on to the next topic, I love this topic. Swing Singapore, when Mr. Goh Chok Tong was Prime Minister, and the very first Swing Singapore occurred along the entire stretch of Orchard Road from...
Like a block party.
Mate, it was not... I can't even call it a block party because it started from where the Marriott is, stretched all the way down to Raffles City. And every 100 meters or so is a cherry picker with a DJ on top. The whole stretch closed down, the whole road, for us to party. The whole Singapore partying. 200.
It was like a disco, outdoor disco.
Yes.
Okay.
And then it
Not
rained.
live performances.
Huh?
Did it rain?
No, it didn't.
No, it was not live performances.
There were as well.
Okay.
On certain
This
parts,
live.
in
What
certain
year,
parts.
what year was this? In the 90s?
Oh man, no. Yeah, maybe late 80s, 89.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then after that, there was another Swing Singapore. Then after that, the last one we had was the Millennium Countdown.
Yes, that one.
And that was a
Yes.
massive street party.
That I remember.
Same thing, the whole stretch. And man, we knew how to enjoy ourselves. We knew how to have fun. We had great bands that were playing, bands that were making waves,
Were
not
you
just
there?
in Singapore.
Oh,
I
he
was kind of young
swinging.
still. These were the guys, I've said it so often in so many episodes of KWC. These are the guys that influenced me, right? People that if I see them, I can't even walk in their shadow.
Like John Molina.
John's my age, so let's not go there.
Okay.
Sorry,
So
John, but I gotta say that.
Swinging. Okay, so we should move on to the
Yes.
other party.
Yep. Let's talk about this party. And this party is started like, it didn't start off very well, did it? But it ended up very well. And it's about this foreign domestic worker. Her name is PARTI Irani. And she was actually charged and sentenced initially for theft of a former employer. And it went up to the appeals court. And now she's been acquitted of all charges.
Yes.
Because the appeals court, the magistrate, actually found some discrepancies in what the prosecution established.
Yeah.
Right, and I'm not going to go too deep into that. But the big story today is that could it be that there was false accusation from a former employer? She was deployed though into working for the employer's son, which isn't allowed by manpower law.
Yeah.
And now this is a big brouhaha going on amongst people in Singapore and netizens and all, talking about this subject. What do you have to say about this, Gilbert?
I think that there are so many different issues at play here. I think one of the most important really is about the powerlessness of certain segments of our society, especially when they are accused of anything by people who are much more powerful than them. And
Much
they
more
don't,
powerful than us.
Yes, and but it doesn't even have to be that, because even if it's a normal Singaporean employer who accuses a foreign domestic worker of something, there's already a power imbalance there.
Yeah.
And one of the problems is that very often the foreign domestic worker has got no resources to go and look for help. They can't afford lawyers.
Apparently, Party didn't even tell her family back home
Yes.
that she's been going through this,
Yes, because it would just make them worry.
We're going to give this lady, 100 marks, man, for guts and resolve, don't you think?
And definitely, so I think that's one big issue, is the imbalance of power there. I'm very glad for the migrant workers organizations like Hope. Which give hope, and protection and advice, and they're the ones who looked for the lawyer, and the lawyer was singled out by the High Court judge.
He was praised actually.
He was praised,
he was,
for his pro bono work for 4 years.
Yeah, man.
Anil
That's really,
Anil Balchandani.
It's a
Well
friend's
done.
son.
Well done, Anil Balchandani.
Yeah. Well,
Fantastic.
I truly feel that this is a really proud moment for Singapore in our legal history.
Yes.
Because this was a drama which was very just straightforward, David versus Goliath.
And it's good to see that the legal system worked in this case the way it's supposed to be. It's supposed to,
Well,
and I think but in the minds of a lot of people, I think it's very important for people to keep in mind that these things can happen and probably happen again.
But
Exactly. And you see,
And don't
it's
have a
amazing
lawyer.
because this one case, like you said, has just laid bare the inadequacies in the processes of our investigative and our justice system.
Yes.
And we cannot have a system where the police, the forensic, the courts, they are reacting with deference to the rich and the powerful. I mean, while the less fortunate just become voiceless.
But on a happy
That
note,
is scary.
on a happy note, it's also great to see a lot of people come forward and donate it to the cause. You know, there's altruism here. Besides Mr. Arnold Baltundani, I mean, that guy takes the cake. You know, hundreds of pages of documents to collate and go through.
2 years, 4 years.
And you know, and he also took it upon himself to seek advice from some senior lawyers who didn't want to take up the case. But two of them, I'm not going to mention names here, but two of them helped him, gave him advice. You know, this man went all out.
Yeah, really.
He really, really did. And the best part is the firm he comes from, Red Lion Circle, they refused to take credit for this. They kept saying that, look, the people who worked hard, who really are the grunts on the ground for this, are the people from the Humanitarian Organization for Migration Economics, HOME. And he praised them instead. So I'm reading all these articles about this. I go, my goodness, this guy.
But you know, Chris, I want to talk a bit also about Mr. Liu Man Leong. Now, for me, in this whole case, what came out was a couple of things. Of course, the David versus Goliath, very, very clear. Yes, a lot of strength, lot of courage. But what is also important is when with somebody as powerful as the chairman of the Changi, the airport group, when doubt is cast over that person's integrity, that person's morals, this can slowly percolate and bring on disrepute to the organization itself. So the question that I want to say is, what are we going to do about that? The next step. Yes, we rejoice in our system. Oh my God, the faith that you have and you see people like us, the system worked. Yes, a little bit later, but it worked. But now the step is, what are they going to do to rectify?
Well, you know, I mean, I think that everyone from the law minister on has already said that they're going to be looking closely, and investigating.
But not only the processes. When you frame someone deliberately, when you, with knowledge that I'm doing this and this is wrong, and you might have just got away with it, what happens then?
Well, there are definitely penalties. There are definitely penalties there,
and
which are written in the law.
That is what we need to see.
Because, you know, just 2 years ago, there was another case, was much less publicized, when a homeowner accused her domestic helper of theft,
stealing,
and planted.
It was in 2016.
2016. And that lady, she herself came forward and confessed to the police because she felt guilty about planting the fake theft evidence.
Pendant,
Yeah, but she was jailed.
She was.
So the question then is that after, of course, the processes will be looked at. Why did the police do this? Why didn't they do the correct thing?
You see,
will they have the courage? Again, different kind of courage now we expect from our leaders. That are you going to see this through? Because Temasek quickly came up and said, we need to appreciate his contributions. Of course we do. Contributions don't go away.
Yes, that's irrelevant actually.
But what about integrity?
Yeah, of course.
What about morals?
Yes. And, you know, I mean, I do think, again, this being Singapore and this being, again, such a publicized case, that they will dot all the I's and cross all the T's in their investigations.
And that's what I love about this country.
Because I can say definitely in many, many other countries,
they would. Exactly.
They would be just...
And you know, when you read the case in the beginning, when she was going to be sent to jail, it just reeks of feeling, that means ultimately, you know, if you're rich and powerful, that's it.
But you know what I think, guys? I'm just wondering, you know what's really bugging me about this whole thing is that, well, I don't know why Temasek had to say what,
because a reporter asked him and he replied to a reporter.
And I don't know why the reporter had to ask him that question to begin
you
with.
Mean the law minister?
No.
Not law minister, the chairman
chief executive for
CEO of Temasek.
You know, why did you even have to ask this guy this? And this is a bit funny. And secondly, you know, it's
because Man Leong is.
But the worst part is, Man Leong
he's
should not be silent. because there's been no comment.
From Changi Arts Group, there's no comment also.
Sorry, from who?
I mean, from the Changi Airport
Yes,
Group,
from
there
CAG.
is no
There's no comment from them
comment.
either. And I
Silent.
think sometimes the worst thing to do is to remain silent.
I think also they
But
need
silence is
to
half
wait
consent.
until the investigations are done.
No, I don't think that's
You know?
necessary because where good journalism is concerned, right? I mean, if a journalist...
Not journalism, but I'm talking about the group itself.
Yeah, I know, but
You know.
I'm pretty sure, I really hope so,
Yeah.
that our journals today are
Correct.
good enough.
Right.
So.
No, but that's precisely what I
And they
said.
should be asking for comments, should be
Correct.
pressing for comments.
Because it affects the whole group. If the person on the top, it's like our leaders, you cannot have a stain, right? I mean, every time somebody defames you, you go out and sue that person because there should be no stain on the leadership. It's
But
the
I also
same
think that obviously,
situation.
we have to be careful simply because there are a lot of good people who have nothing to do with this, who work for this Changi Airport Group
Right,
and all of
right,
that, you know.
right.
And so
No, we're not saying that these. We're not. I don't think it's good to is right to speculate that just because of one person, the rest of them are all wrong. No, absolutely
That's
not.
not where we're going.
But the point is that I think it's. I think that PR people got to get things right here, and go to them and say, guys,
I
you
also
cannot.
think that because
you
this
cannot
is
stay silent
I
forever.
think it's
you
also
know?
because this
At
is
least
unprecedented
some statement,
in
yes.
Singapore.
Yeah, make a statement.
Yeah.
It's
You've
you're
never
absolutely
had
right.
something like this
Like this,
before.
like
We
this.
did.
In Singapore.
I mean, not specific to this, but
No,
don't
but
forget the old golden taps.
Yeah, but that's different in
No,
that sense.
yeah.
He did a lot of work.
Yeah,
too.
yeah. No, but what I'm
Right.
saying is that within Singapore's stat boards and these big government
Yeah.
companies.
No, but
you
if
know,
you see his achievements,
yeah,
I mean, Man Leong's achievements. I
Yeah.
mean, he got the highest accolades in
Yes,
this
yes, yes,
land.
exactly.
And that's why the case becomes even more pronounced. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
actually, if you look at it like a Hollywood or a Bollywood film, you're looking at this poor maid and nobody wants to take on your
yeah.
case.
I'm
because
curious though,
who
because
wants to
who
stand
was the
up
one who
against
actually
these?
called the police? Wasn't it his son?
They did.
They-
Obviously, one person was called. Can't
They
be
did. They
everyone
did.
there.
They did.
Yeah.
Because she wanted to report. Because the son gave her, you got to pack up. You have to, in 2 hours. You're leaving
Yeah.
Singapore.
Yeah.
And she got upset. She said, why don't you just let me stay and I find another employer?
Yeah, I mean,
And she
And
must
she
not
so she said, I'm
related-
gonna
Yeah.
lodge
She
a
muttered.
report.
yeah,
to,
it's not
to
related
MOM.
to this case, but it's worth noting, I think, that 2 years ago, no, actually 2016 rather, the son was in another high court case that he was found liable for over $6.9 million in guarantees and was made a bankrupt, and the judge called him out for quote unquote being a deceitful witness. So I think that just something
talks about character.
character.
Oh boy, yeah.
That's
I'm not gonna step on that.
yeah,
now.
yeah, exactly. So
No, but
because
if we are just look, we are not lawyers.
yeah.
We're just looking at what is happening out there, and I look at it as though you're observing, you're watching,
Yes,
you're
yes,
sharing
yeah.
our experiences, our opinions with those who are listening.
Yeah.
And this is something that happened. That's factual.
Yeah.
Now, whether you take that and add it and what conclusion you come to
Yeah,
is
I mean,
different.
like I said, the two cases are not linked at all.
Yeah.
But it is interesting to note that this individual has had this kind of a situation
But
before.
Correct.
Yeah.
But just to on this topic, just to bring back what we spoke about not long ago. I mean, remember that we talked about the kid that threw something at his helper and broke her
Yes.
nose. And
yes, the mug.
Yeah.
And then now, and then we have this sort of cases like this. We got to. I'm just hoping Singaporeans just stop. I can't generalize this, but it's happening it's too prevalent already. Let's stop bullying people.
Yeah.
I just cannot imagine how scared PARTI, for example.
Yeah.
How scared she must have been.
I think that, when we talked last week, was it last week about
I think
maid
it was.
abuse?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
I think that still stands,
How is it we keep talking about these topics?
No, because it is so prevalent
so often, right?
Yeah, so prevalent. It's so unfortunate. It is the powerful preying on the powerless. It's people who are bullying, and that really needs to stop. And, even as we speak right now, I know that there are many foreign domestic workers who are under the thumb of their less than kind, employers, and going through things, and that's why I think that the migrant worker organizations are so important to help them, So.
And thank God for
people
thank
like
God for
Anil.
people like Anil. Thank goodness for
thank
people like him.
goodness for that.
There's still hope in Singapore's humanity.
Oh
Yes.
yes. No,
Isn't it?
and the legal system.
Yes,
And the
legal
judge.
system.
Oh,
Yes.
wow. Kudos
Yeah.
to the judge.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Stood up and wrote 100 pages and said, go for it, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody started teetering,
Yes,
running,
yes,
doing what is
definitely.
needful.
Yes.
That's
I
what
think
we're
that-
doing.
And
I think
that
that
was
was
also
brilliant.
an act of courage there for the
Yes.
judge to stand
100
up.
pages.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it.
And to
at
call
least now
out,
we know that we
by
can
name.
we still can
And the
really
police.
trust our judicial
Yes.
system
Yes,
in
and
Singapore.
that's
And let due
fabulous.
process take its course. I'm pretty sure that the relevant authorities are looking into this matter.
Yes.
I have to echo the sentiment of Law Minister by saying let's not start a witch hunt.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
No, but
So let's move on now to something else.
Really?
which
Do we
is
want to?
A little bit.
Do we really want to?
I think because we have about
God.
5 minutes left.
Yeah, we have 5 minutes, but do
Yeah.
we really want to? Because I really think we should leave these two people alone.
Yeah, well, unfortunately,
now
they've
that
already
Gilbert
been
has mentioned it,
Oh, but
maybe just
Gilbert's
a
going
little
for it.
mention.
No, but
I'm
Daisy,
going
she's
for
go-
it because I
she's
think
going
there's
for
an-
it. He's
no.
going for it, man.
I think it's because there's an important point to be made here. For those of you who are wondering what the hell we're babbling about, there was something on our less than let's say our salacious journalism, citizen journalism site website.
You mean the voyeurs?
Yes,
Right.
Yes, exactly. The voyeurs and
The voyeurs.
and the complainers and all of that. There was a couple, well into middle age, who were.
What do you mean, well into middle age, mate? This is old age. This is not middle age. I'm looking at the pictures now.
I didn't look that closely.
I don't
ne-
even
I
have to
didn't
look
want to.
closely,
Chris,
man.
They were
I've
spotted
heard
engaging in intimate.
Well into middle age means old age.
Okay. They were spotted engaging in intimate and quote-unquote obscene behavior on the rooftop garden of MacPherson Residency's multi-story car park around 3:30 in the afternoon, where they were basically doing a lot of interesting examinations
pioneers
of each
having
other.
fun.
Yes. I think they do look like they're pioneer generation, but and unfortunately they were photographed. I was for about 2 hours, I think, right? So it was not even a short time, basically.
It's not a short time, yeah. Gilbert.
No, but so what was the point?
Oh
you
no,
want to
over
make,
1 hour
Gilbert?
in broad daylight.
Gilbert.
So that's short time.
Because it's,
Okay, so the reaction of a lot of people though is, first of all, it's like, okay, you shouldn't be doing this in public, okay, which I think is, fine, don't do this in public. But also people are talking about the age of these people, which I think is wrong. Because
Yes.
I really think that no matter what age you are, you have
Exactly.
every right, and kudos for having that kind of
Exactly.
Passion.
Adventurous.
Yes,
Passion.
it's only that maybe the venue
in
car
public,
park
yes,
and
exactly.
3:30 in the afternoon, it could be a bit.
Exactly.
What I don't
You know.
like with what some people are saying, you're so old, and all this, and you don't do this kind of thing. and all.
Exactly.
People are saying that.
Yeah.
But what is age
That
got to do
comment.
with it?
Exactly.
Yeah, because-
I mean, okay, come on, people, face facts. If you could still have the passion for intimacy, and when you're at that kind of senior age, count yourself lucky.
Yeah, exactly.
And stop saying that
And
just
more
because
power
people
to
are
you.
old doesn't mean they don't have a sex life.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, sure, they shouldn't be bringing it out in broad
yeah,
daylight.
exactly.
But I give them 100 marks, man, because I'm pretty sure some of these people who are talking and making fun of them, you mean you haven't done this outdoors before?
Or they could
Bullshit.
be jealous that they're not getting any.
Yeah.
Seriously,
Yeah.
very
Come
often that's the
on,
thing.
come on.
So,
I totally agree with you. I feel there should be no age bar
Yeah.
to do.
I mean, we're not going to talk about,
The
it's
only thing
obscene,
is
they're doing it outside. We're not,
maybe-
no, it's
maybe-
not about that.
Yeah, it's
maybe
not about
not,
that.
and taking pictures.
yeah.
And then posting it.
Yeah, exactly.
I think
That's kind of
that just
spitefulness.
goes-
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm asking about this guy
Yes, who
who
did
took
this.
the shots
Yes,
and took
exactly.
the pictures. I mean, you having fun watching them, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
So
For
you're
an
gonna
hour.
take shots.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so disgusted.
So
Let me
you
get a better
sit there
view.
and stand there and watch
an
them
hour.
doing
Yeah,
the
for
do.
an hour. Yeah,
doing the
exactly.
do for an hour. You
Yeah.
kidding me?
Yeah.
Now, who is the obscene person here? You are the perv, you dude.
Yep, yeah, the voyeur.
The-
Watch
you
this for an
voyeur.
hour. Yes.
Yeah.
So I love the fact that it says Storm will not be uploading the videos due to your obscene nature. So
Well, yeah, but I'm pretty
But,
sure that
videos
he
as
took
well.
video as
Yes,
well.
video.
Yeah,
It was
bloody
it was a
peeping
video.
Tom.
so auntie uncle, more power to you.
Yeah, man.
And
But
all the auntie uncles out there, but
auntie,
just
uncle,
try and get
just
the Hotel
remember,
81.
yeah,
I tell you.
81 was it?
When I grow up, I must be like them. Yes.
Okay, closing words.
I think don't grow up for a while now. It's okay, Chris.
I'm stuck between the two adults here.
Closing words. I would like to start.
Oh,
with the
okay.
closing
Here we
words.
go.
Okay.
Yes, yes. This is not Omar Khayyam.
Oh, really?
This
I'm
is
disappointed.
not,
What do you say
this
about
is-
public
no,
sex?
But this is got to do well. Actually, you know what? I've never really researched what Omar Khayyam has to do with public sex. But I want to touch on the topic of party because I just am so heartened and again, at the cost of repeating myself, putting the faith in our legal system.
Yeah.
And I want to just quote something by Malcolm Gladwell, who says, when people in authority want the rest of us to behave, it matters. First and foremost, how they behave.
Yes.
And that is what I'd like to say as a closing statement. And I will find out what Omar Khayyam has to say about it, and I will share it with you guys next time.
This Omar Khayyam thing is getting us down, man.
And nobody knows why. And these two guys just laugh every time they open the mouth about Omar Khayyam. But yeah, I think it's important that you practice what you preach.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so it's my turn because you're closing the
Yes.
show today. First of all, I got two things to say. First, I have a quote to say. I'm gonna end off with a quote, but I'm gonna say this: for goodness' sake, please God, don't let Donald Trump win the Nobel Peace Prize. I want to vomit.
No, he was
Okay.
nominated by a right-wing politician who is an anti-Semite, so that says everything.
And you need to pray
I
to
want
God
to
for that.
vomit, man.
No.
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
Don't take thy Lord the God's name in vain.
Hello, don't
No,
quote the
he's
first
really
commandment to
hoping.
me. I'm really praying to God.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, here's my quote. And it's from a great composer, Burt Bacharach.
I love.
And this is my message.
Do you know the way to San Jose?
Oh, goodness me. You sounded like Dionne Warwick for a while. Okay.
Go on, share.
What the world needs now is love, sweet love.
I know this. What the
Is the-
world
Hello,
needs now
hello.
is love.
Can you please don't talk while I'm interrupting? No?
Sorry. Isn't it that same
Harmonizing.
song?
See, I'm gonna do this all over again.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
This is what happens when I'm stuck
Yes.
between two adults.
Okay.
Adults, they only talk, don't listen.
Okay, so,
one.
so,
Yes.
go. Sorry.
Yeah, okay. One more time, huh? Burt Bacharach. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. So what the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone.
Can I
Amen.
sing it?
Very good.
Can I sing it now? Because that's the
Yeah,
song.
she's gonna sing it.
It's that.
Yes.
What the world
Wonderful.
needs
Okay,
now
Yeah.
so
is love,
my closing words
sweet
basically would be in reference to the older couple and to all older people out there and to everyone. Just keep this in mind, which I really do believe, is that you are not old until regrets take the place of dreams.
Oh, nice.
So keep dreaming, keep striving, keep reaching, and be safe and be kind.
And stay away from the blue pill.
Yes, be kind.
Blue pill.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Leave your
Thank you.
comments.
Yes.
Subscribe, like, and we'll see you next week or another episode.
Love you guys.
Namaste.
Bye-bye.
Namaste.
Bye bye.